All right, kidneys and hemi-dissected kidneys so that you can see inside. The kidneys, they have got two zones. Outer layer is called the cortex, and inside we have got the medulla. Cortex is one, what should I say, linear thing, but the medullas are kind of island things. All right, please. So island-like things, and those islands, the medullas, these are called renal pyramids. As you can see, they look like triangular, they look like pyramids, and their apexes are pointing towards the pelvis, but not directly because they are all having the urine formed, and there are some small funnel-shaped things catching the urine. So those are called minor calyces or minor calyx, all right. And two or three like this, you see the minor calyces more clearly right here, and two or three minor calyces will form the major calyx, and those 2 to 3 major calyces will form the pelvis, and this is the ureter continues from the pelvis, all right. So pyramids, cortex, minor calyx, major calyx, pelvis, and then the ureter. And here you can see the blood vessels. Anybody can say this is the renal artery and renal vein, all right? Don't confuse. Inside the kidneys, you see that there are nephrons, all right? There are nephrons, and there are two different types of nephrons. One is called cortical nephron, another one is called juxtamedullary nephron. Basically, they are the same, but the cortical nephrons, they have got their major portion in the cortex, only small part in the medulla. They should have some portion in the medulla. Whereas the juxtaglomerular nephrons, they have got their major portion in the medulla. They should have some portion in the cortex. That's why they are called juxtamedullary, not the medullary. Juxtamedullary means juxta means close to. So they are close to medulla. So only 15% of the nephrons are like this, and rest 85% are the cortical nephrons. This is the part of nephron. Nephrons, they have got two parts. One is called the renal corpuscle, which comprises of Bowman's or glomerular capsule, and one tuft of capillary, which is called the glomerulus. And the rest part, remaining part, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, and the collecting, distal convoluted tubule, we will call it as renal tubules, and this is the collecting duct, collecting everything. So in the glomerulus, you know that the blood is coming via the afferent arteriole, afferent beginning with A, afferent arteriole, which is thicker and bigger in diameter than the efferent one, and in that way we can apply the law of Pascal. We can increase the pressure, which is the filtration pressure, which will push out almost everything from the blood vessel, like the water, the electrolytes, the waste products with large amount of glucose, and everything will come out. Only the blood cells which are bigger, they will stay. The protein is electronegative, so that will also stay. Otherwise, everything will come out, all right. And those small cells are called podocytes. These are not bacteria or viruses. These are your own cells. They have got food processes, so that's why they are called podocytes, and they can literally control the amount of filtrate should come out, all right, should come out. So this is afferent, this is efferent, and this is the glomerulus, all right, and the whole thing is the Bowman's capsule, this is, and as a whole you will call it as renal corpuscle, all right. Now here you see the gross anatomy. Once again, you can see the kidneys. You can see that there are two glands on top of kidneys, and you know their names, adrenal glands. And from the pelvis, you see that the ureter is coming out, and both the ureters are now heading towards the urinary bladder. And at the posterior part of the urinary bladder, they will enter, all right, inside the urinary bladder. Let's open up the bladder and let's try to see what else we can see. In the bladder, you see one triangular area. Can everyone see that thing? Triangular area. These 2 points are connected. These two are the openings of the ureter, and this is the opening of the urethra, all right. So ureter and urethra, they are forming the trigone. This is the most sensitive part of urinary bladder. So if the urine is full, urinary bladder is full, you will feel the urge right here. If someone is having stone is tickling that area, and that person will feel some, what should I say, some weird type of sensation, and that he or she will think that I need to pee, but there is no pee, something like this. So this is the most sensitive part of the urinary bladder. Otherwise, the bladder is one muscular organ. These muscles are called detrusor muscles, and inside the bladder, the epithelium is the transitional epithelium. All right, transitional epithelium. Now, the bladder is connected to the urethra, as you know, and at the back we have got some glands over here. So can anyone tell me whether this thing is from a male or a female? Male? Why? Let's try. Let's try.
That looks like a prostate.
That looks like a prostate. Yeah, he is right. All right. So although he is studying physics over here, but I don't mind. All right. So here you see that the prostate is over here and seminal vesicles are there, and you don't see prostate in female, seminal vesicle in female. So we'll try to understand those two things later on. All right. So this is the urinary bladder, and urethra will eventually empty the bladder. All right. Any question? No, now the anatomy is restored. Okay. So if we don't have any question, maybe you are overwhelmed, just start